United.
Morning.
If we start with your team news, you had Vardy, Vestergaard and Christensen out from the last game. How are they looking for this weekend?
They had a good weeks of training, so they're back in full training. So all being well today and tomorrow, then they're ready for selection.
Any other issues? Anybody out or in?
No other news on that.
We'll look at, I guess, a sense of injustice from that game at Manchester United, but were there some positives to take from it as well that can give you some confidence coming into this weekend?
Yes, because I think the performance deserved going into extra time, and I felt we were in the game. We were solid. We did really well at Old Trafford. Also, the way we defended and tried to put United under pressure. Also, where we had to sit a little bit deeper when they came a little bit more aggressive in the second half. We looked very solid. Scored a good goal, so there's a lots of things to build on. It's what we wanted. We wanted the reaction after the Everton game. We did it. Unfortunately, it ended with the mistake of the referees. But you know, what can you do?
How much more will you need this weekend against this Arsenal side? What kind of performance?
No, it's clear. It's clear that the difference between us and Arsenal is big. You can see that. It's in the table. It's clear. A team that's fighting to win the title, that is in the Champions League. It's a big challenge for us, and for us something to look forward to. You know, to challenge, to be and perform the best possible way possible for us, and like I said, to continue building on the last performance as well against United. So the lads showed that they're capable.
As a player at United, there was a huge rivalry with Arsenal. Is that a rivalry that stays with you?
Not really. No, you move on, don't you? And it was a rivalry then, and what happened on the pitch stayed on the pitch. I've never talked or commented on those things. For me, it's what happens in football and how football should be lived. Of course, being 20 years ago or more, it's good for history, but for the current now, it's not there for me.
They've had some injury issues with their forward line. They've now got this injury to Kai Havertz. Does that make them an easier prospect this weekend?
Well, the depth of their squad is clear. Obviously, not having Saka and Havertz is absolutely top of the world. Players that are in that level is something that, of course, they will feel. But the squad, when you look at that, then they have enough players to replace them.
And in terms of yourselves, you are 2 points off of safety right now coming into this game. What kind of mindset have your players got to have coming into this game?
The game-for-game mindset, that's for sure. I mean, performance, maximum preparation within the training week, the highest standards that require the preparation for every game we're going to play, and then perform at our best. And then it's up to how you manage the games. You know, of course, we know we have to score. We have to score more. We have to concede less, and it's the most basic evaluation of our performances, and that's why the differences are made in both boxes. So it's our challenge to live up to that.
And 14 games to go in the Premier League. Is it a case that your players have just got to hold their nerve?
No, you have to prepare every day. You're not going to sit at home nervous all day. You have to work. You have to invest in making things happen for yourself. And then when game day comes, you have to perform at the best possible way as an individual and as a team. And collectively, we have to be all 100%. to be able to win games and get out of the situation, and that's by working.
Thank you. All the
You're
best.
welcome.
Hi Ruud, good seeing you again. And you've been the manager here for a few months now. Personally for you, what would it mean to keep Leicester City up in the Premier League?
You know, if you were able to do that all together, then if you look at the promoted sides that stay up, that's a great performance, and because you have to keep one of the teams below you that were already in the Premiership for years, most of the time. So that would be absolutely fantastic to be able to do that. And we're in there for the fight, and we believe, and we prepare for that, and take it game by game.
Statistically, in the last few years, the average number of points required to stay in the Premier League is slowly been declining. What do you think it means about the challenge of relegation battle? Does it make it tougher to stay up, or perhaps the other way around?
Well, you know, it's difficult to comment on that. I think every season is different. How things go over a whole season in between 38 games and all the amount of games that are being played. Every season is different. At this moment, we can only look at where we are now, what is left, and what we need to do, and that task is clear.
Can I please ask you about Arsenal's set pieces? Over the years as a manager and as a player in the Premier League, can you recall a side like Arsenal that took this ability to a really high level, and how challenging from a manager perspective is, and a team perspective is, to prepare and to deal with that threat?
Yeah, it's clear. They've been very successful on set pieces. Also, not only that, but you can see the development in football, in the Premier League, with set pieces, with set piece coaches, with a completely approach on all set pieces, throw-ins, corners, free kicks, penalties, everything. So the amount of training that's invested in this part also for us is increasing, because games are decided on this as well, and Arsenal is excellent in this part.
Overall, if you compare them to last season, do you think Arsenal got better?
Well, it is for me to look at the development of my own team, not of another team. For me, I look at Arsenal and prepare the game for my team, the way they have been performing over the last weeks and months, and which players are available and which aren't, and that will lead to a game plan, and hopefully with the home support behind us, we can surprise Arsenal.
Okay, Owen, from Leicester.
Hi.
Jeremy Monga was on the bench against Manchester United. Jake Evans was in the travelling squad. Are those players that will be in contention for selection throughout the rest of the season?
They are in contention, yes, because they're part of first team training. Not every day because of school, still. So they are once or twice a week they are training with us. Because of some little injuries, they came into the squad. It's clear. Of course, the players are now back that weren't able to be there against United. So we have to look, but they are competing. Yes.
Kirsty mentioned 14 games to go. How do you manage this end part of the season with your players, with the games quickly, it seems, ticking down?
Yeah, game by game. Huh? So it's clear that the preparation and the standards every day that are required to prepare and become better as individuals and as a team, they have to be the highest possible every day, and leading into the matches, and perform there to the maximum of our capabilities, game by game, and that's the focus, and it will bring us to the end of the season.
You were also asked about the points total in the Premier League, which has declined over the years. Every season is different, as you said, but have you identified a points total that you think will keep this club in the Premier League this season?
Well, the one who can look in the future and tell me that is, can always ring me.
Wilfred Ndidi's return against Manchester United gave you that extra physicality in the midfield. I wonder for you how important an attribute that is to have back in your team, that extra physicality in these final stretch of the season now.
I think if you define Wilf as only physicality, I think you do him short. I think first it starts with the character of the person, which is excellent. Second is leadership within this team. Also his playing capabilities and his arrival in opponent's box. You saw it in the goal at United. He can arrive and be dangerous there. So he has an enormous reach on the pitch, on and off the ball. And yes, his physicality as well brings an extra thing for the team. But I think the complete package of him as a character and as a player has lifted the team.
On the physicality point though, is that something that Wilf can inspire in other players in this team because of the way that he plays and those leadership capabilities? And is it something that you could do maybe with more of heading into the final part of the season?
No, it's important that in certain phases of the game that we have to be physical. That is clear. And I think with Soumaré and Wilf, we have a strong midfield that we played against United, but we have other types as well, and it depends on games what we're going to need. You have to win games also playing and creating and defend all together and attack all together. That's the modern game. So we need players that are capable to do that, and we have them in the squad.
This Saturday, Ruud, there is a protest by Leicester City fans being planned. What do you make of that, and what would you say to supporters who were planning to protest this week?
Thank God we live in a society where there's freedom of speech, and everybody who feels that they should let their voice heard in a good way is free to do that, and we have to all be happy that we can do that.
Ruud, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Hey Ruud, just on the fans.
On the what?
Just on the supporters that will
Yes.
be inside the stadium on Saturday lunchtime. What do you need from them this weekend against a team that hasn't lost in the league since early November?
Well, not only against a team that hasn't lost since early November. We, yesterday when you look at the Champions League fixtures, when you look at also looking back as a player, that when you played in front of your home crowd, and there's a connection with that crowd on a tackle or on a pass or on a cross or in difficult moments in a game where the support is lifting you. I know from experience, but also as a coach, but also as a person that loves sports and football, what it does to a team, and I can only hope that the support will be behind the players. Of course, it's good that if there's anything you want to get off your chest, and say it individually or in groups. As I said before, thank God we live in a society where that's possible. But of course, when the whistle starts at 12:30 till the end of the game, I can only hope that the players are fully supported by the crowd, and it will lift them.
Looking down the stretch now that you've got these 14 games remaining, are you going to have to pull off a few shock results here and there now between the end of the season if you are to survive?
No, it's clear that there's only one way to be successful, and that is to get points. So it's clear. In the end, it will be marked with the final table after the final game, and it's about points. So it's our goal. It's what we work for. Collect points in every game possible.
And just finally, on the set pieces, which was mentioned already, how much time have you dedicated this week to trying to negate their threat from set pieces? And there's surely a balance to that as well, because you can't just focus all your time on that.
No, it's good to... I think consistency is important. If you start working on set pieces this week, then you're a bit late. I think from the time that I'm here, and also before with the set piece coach, There's always been time and there's always been a development in defending and attacking all the set pieces. So it's a development constantly, and every week within the training schedule there's a certain amount of time dedicated to that, which is normal in our weekly program. Of course, you emphasize on an opponent, what they do, what do we do against it, but it's what you do every week.
Appreciate your time. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. We'll finish with Mark from ITV. Thank you.
Hi, Ruud. Good to see you. You mentioned consistency there. I'm just wondering, have you seen enough progress in your players since you came in here to be happy?
No, of course, you look at progress. We speak about it a lot. I think it's not the time now to go through 14 games and how it all went and all the progress, but you can see over the last, from the last 3 games, you can see the Spurs away game and the United game against tough opponents. There were good performances. There was an away win after a comeback. Of course, at Everton, we know we said that it wasn't good enough. We are better than that, and that's what we wanted to show against United, and we did. So it's where you show against Tottenham and United away that what you're capable of, and it's not only the first 11, but it's also more in the width of the squad. The players who played against United, for example, they showed their levels and were able to compete against the best players. So it's something that we want to build on.
Is it difficult, though, to put in a good performance but not see any reward for it?
Yeah, sometimes it's at Spurs there was a big reward for it. 3 points away from home. That brings us that brought us further. And of course, if you go into extra time and with a 1-1 and you fought to reach the extra time, and then is 5 players are a meter offside, and you get that against you. But we deserve more there. And Saturday's a new game. We have to show it again, but we also know it's against a title contender. We have to be absolutely spot on in that game to do something.
Just a final one. You've just talked about the United game. When you lose a game like that, the circumstances that you did, and then you know you're facing a team in the top 2 that are challenging for the title, psychologically, what can that do to a player? And does it feel different in your shoes as a manager rather than a player in that circumstance?
No, it doesn't, because it's a process of reacting, and it's what I've done my whole life. After a loss, after a draw, after a win. After winning a league or a cup, or in my first 3 seasons in the Dutch Championship, where you have to grind results out and trying to make a career, and it's what you do. You shake a bad result off, you're happy with a good result, you get up the next day, start working again. It's a process, and it's investing in becoming better every day. It's what it's about. And then you lose, you win, you draw. But it's a continuous process.
Thanks, Ruud. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll end the broadcast section there. Lift that embargo. Go to section for papers. Embargo 10:30 Friday.